Hello and welcome you all in this video tutorial. Dear students, this video is for class 10th, chapter number 2nd, Internet Services. Dear students, as we already discussed first chapter, that is Internet Basics, in that we discuss about Internet and its component. We discuss some of the basic internet terminology like server, client, web browser, web pages, website, URLs, etc. Along with this, we discuss some of the domain extensions, working of a web page, and with this we discuss some of the protocols like TCP/IP, HTTP. Now, in this chapter, that is chapter number 2nd, Internet Services, here we are going to discuss about the important services which we are using in our day-to-day life. The first thing that I am going to discuss is information retrieval. Dear students, as you already know, online information retrieval system, or whenever we are using internet, we access any information whenever we require. For this, for retrieving information, one application is needed, that is web browser. So you all know what is a web browser. As I told in previous chapter, web browser is an software application that allow users to visit various websites on the internet and display the content on the World Wide Web. It means without browser, we are not allowed to access web content. So, as you know, browser acts as an interface between user and World Wide Web. Why interface? Dear student, as you know, as I told you here, if you want to search any website or any topic or any query, for this, first of all, we need to open browser. After opening browser, we need to type the URL inside the address bar of our web browser. As we type the URL, the browser contacts the web server, and requests the information. The web server sends the required information back to the web browser. This way, a cycle will complete for searching and viewing the desired result. Next thing that we need to discuss is email. Dear student, as you all know, email stands for electronic mail, is defined as the transmission of messages on the internet, or electronic mail is the most popular internet application. It allows users to send and receive messages in real time. Dear students, it is cost effective and eco-friendly from the communication, as it saves paper as well as postage cost. Email also provide the provision for sending attachments. Dear student, attachments like text, files, images, or other things or other attachments. Email messages are conveyed through email servers. It uses multiple protocols within TCP/IP suite. Multiple protocols within TCP/IP suite means it uses SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. Along with this, it uses some of the more protocols that we discuss later on. Now, in order to this, next point that we need to understood is email account. Dear student, email account or a mailbox is destination to which electronic messages are delivered. It is a equivalent of a letterbox in postal system. Dear student, in earlier days, in order to send a ordinary mail, deliver ordinary mail to its destination with the help of address like house number, street name, location, city, its states, etc. we are using. Likewise, if if you want to send a email, for this we have a destination mail or we have a email account. Without email account, we are not allowed to send, we are not allowed to establish or send an email to anyone else. So it is very much important. We must have an email if we want to send a mail to anyone else on the globe. Okay. Next point, email address. Dear student, till now we understood what is an email, what is email account, why we need email account. Email address. Email address is a name that uniquely identify an email account on a network. What it means, what is the meaning of this line? As we know, as you know, dear student, at server side, we have millions of email accounts. Among all the millions of email account, if we want to find a particular email ID or email account, for this we need a unique identification. That unique identification is our email address. Email address contain some components. Components like, if you observe this particular figure, then you might understood the first component that we need inside email address, inside email account is username. This username must be unique for every individual user. Through this username only, your email account are categorized, are separated at server side. So the first component is username. Username, it is the name of person's account, which can be an actual name or a word or a phrase. It means for making username as a unique, we need to use either that actual name if available or a word or a phrase. Next component, domain name. Domain name, it is the location of the person's account on the internet. Location of the person's account on the internet, it means through which email server you are creating your email ID. Like in example, I mentioned Gmail. So here the particular email is stored on Gmail server. Suppose here if it was written Yahoo, then it means that email account is exist on Yahoo server. So likewise, it varies. It's up to you. You either wants to create on Gmail or Yahoo or MSN or Rediffmail. It's up to you. Next component, domain extension. It is specified after the domain name. As clear in the figure, it resides after the domain name. Indicates which type of organization is providing the email account. So here we discuss three different components: the user name, domain name and domain extension. In between them we have a @ sign. What is the use of this @ symbol? As you know, the username, whatever username we have made, it reside, or it is the first part of the email address that is given before @ symbol. A username is always paired with a password, or @ sign. What is the role of @ sign? Don't be confused. What is the role of @ sign? The role of @ sign is to combine, or is to separate username and domain. Usually an email address consists two parts, username and domain name, and these two, username and domain name, separated by @ sign, @ symbol. And this @ symbol is only make a particular format is a valid email format. For example, or in other words, if you share your email ID to anyone else, if you forget to write @ sign, or if you forget to put @ sign, then your email address is not considered as a valid email address. So we must have to put @ symbol, and the role, the responsibility of @ symbol is to separate username and domain name. Don't forget this. Moving to the next. Email categorized or classified in two categories. First one is web-based email. Second one is client-based or application-based email. The first, let me discuss about web-based email. A web-based email can be accessed by user across the globe from any computer connected to the internet at any time. Dear student, due to this flexibility, these email services have become very popular, especially among those people who are always traveling. For using web-based email, first of all, users need to register themselves on particular email service provider. In order to get free account, user needs to create their login with the user ID and password. Once user successfully created their user ID and password, the user allowed to share the email across the globe. Only one thing is required. The user needs a device with internet connectivity. So this is the advantage of web-based email. This is helpful for those people who are always traveling. Next, client or application-based email. And before this, let me tell you, some of the web-based email services are Gmail, Yahoo, MSN. Application or client-based email. Application-based or client-based email means we need to install a program. In order to use the services of application or client-based email, we need to install a program in our machine, in our device, in our computer to read the email. Some of the example of application-based email are Outlook Express, Outlook, and Thunderbird. Outlook you may find inside MS Office suite. So, if you want to use the services of application or client-based email, for this we must install some of the application that are mentioned inside this paragraph. Moving to the next. Dear student, I want to tell you the difference between email and Gmail. So the common difference between email and Gmail is email is a method of exchanging digital messages over the internet. Gmail is one of many email clients that is owned by Google and is one of the most popular email service providers. So Gmail is a kind of service provider owned by Google. Gmail is a method of exchanging digital messages over the internet. It means email, you can use email services by any of the service provider, like you might use Gmail, you may use Yahoo, you may use MSN. So according to this, email and Gmail both are different. Next difference, as it was mentioned here, email cannot work without an email client, which can be anything other than Gmail. This side, it's a free Google account associated with unique ID that ends with @gmail.com. Likewise, email is simply a means of communication. If you want to establish communication through email, it is possible. Gmail comes with web and POP based interface. Email is nothing but an electronic message that may contain text, graphics, image or video. In other hand, Gmail is simply a platform through which email can be sent and received. So by seeing the last difference, you might understood email is an electronic message that may contain text, image, audio, graphics or video. But Gmail is a platform through which we can send these all messages, text, graphics, image or video. I hope it is clear to you. Next, till now, dear student, we understood what is the email, what is a email account, email addresses, components, classification of email services, web-based application or client-based email. Now we need to understand how we create an email account. If you want to create an email account on Gmail, so what you need to do first? You need to choose an account type. Go to Google account, sign in page, click create account, enter your name, user name field, enter a username, enter password, then again confirm password, click next. Optionally, you can add your phone number of your own account. This phone number is optional. If at any time, if you want to recover your email, suppose you might forget your password, so this is going to be help you to recover your email account. At last, you need to click on next button. If your data, if your credential is okay, correct, then you are able to create a email account. Once you registered, once your sign up is done, next time with that username and password, you may log in inside your email account. So this is the simple step how you will create an email account. Rest, if you plan to create an email account, the steps are very much easy. You may follow and create your email account. Next, after creating an email account, once you are getting an email account, you must understood the structure of email message. Dear student, we have some structure, we have some uh, place. According to this particular figure, you might have noticed inside header we have form to subject. Here you can provide to whom you are sending the email, what are the subject of that particular email. Inside body you can specify your text messages, whatever text messages you want to type. At last we have attachment along with that image. If you are having any attachment like you have to attach any video file, audio file, image or any other archive file, so you are allowed to use this attachment button. So inside email structure you might have found header, body and attachment. By using these all fields you may compose a mail to anyone else. Next, this is till now we are discussing about email services. Next, we need to understand how a search engine works. As given in your book, inside chapter number 2, this figure is given on page number 39, working of a simple Google search. Dear student, here I want to tell you how a Google search engine is going to be work. Whenever we plan to search anything on the internet by using Google search engine or any other search engine, a cycle is going to be complete in order to search the particular request. So what will happen as a user, if you want to search any website, any query, any a particular thing on internet using Google server, so first of all we need to open browser. In the search box of that browser we need to type the URL, the query. Once we type the query, hit on the search button, what will happen? The query goes to web server. The responsibility of web server is to find for this particular request web server is having any response or not. If web server finds yes, I am having a response, immediately web server redirect that particular query to the index server. Once that particular page, that particular query is found inside index server, it again redirect to document server. And from document server, the response goes to user. So this way, a Google search engine will work. Why we are having Google web server, Google index server and document server? Because Google search engine, whatever search server is there for Google search engine, that server contains millions of information, millions of websites. So it is very much required to arrange all the document, all the information, all the website inside in an organized way. As for example, if I explain you, if I tell you, suppose you are having a book, you want to open a particular chapter. So what we do? First we prefer to see the index page. From index page, once we found the page number, we directly jumps to that particular chapter page number. So in this way our search is little bit easier. The same way, to respond to the user quickly and fastly, what Google server does is it create index server and document server. So this way the response is searched quickly inside the server and it goes to the user fastly and conveniently. Okay. Now this is all about how a Google search engine will work, how a search engine will work. Next, in order to search, in order to communicate, in order to send any file on the internet, we need to follow some protocol. In the same sequence, the first protocol is FTP, stands for File Transfer Protocol. Is a standard internet protocol for exchanging files between two ends, between two or more ends, or between two or more computers. FTP uses TCP/IP protocol to upload or download file from our computer from other source. The source can be web server or a remote host over the internet. Dear student, TCP and IP we discussed in first chapter, the role of TCP and IP. TCP responsible for transmitting data in the form of packets. IP decide the correct destination. In order to, if you want to share any file using FTP protocol, so it works, it uses TCP/IP protocol to upload as well as to download a file from one computer to another computer. If you see this particular figure, then it is very clear. We have two ends. One is FTP client, second one is FTP server, and these two ends are uses TCP/IP protocols for establishing, for sharing the file from client to server, server to client. Moving to the next, SSH protocol. Dear student, SSH protocol stands for Secure Socket Shell Protocol. It uses for both side authentication. Dear student, if you observe this figure, in this figure we have client, we have SSH server. So what this protocol, what is the responsibility of SSH protocol? The responsibility of this protocol is to authenticate, the request at server side as well as at the client side. It means in SSH secure socket shell protocol, we have authentication at both the end, client end as well as server end. This SSH protocol was developed by SSH Communication Security Ltd Limited to safely communicate with remote machine. Dear student, you know what is a remote machine? Everywhere in this chapter written remote machine. Remote machine means a kind of machine or a machine which is not with us, which is far away from us. It means it was talking about server machine. As we know, whatever information we are searching on internet, that informations are not stored in our machines, that is stored somewhere else. It means it is stored on a such machine that is not with us, that is far away from us, हमसे कहीं दूर है. So if somewhere you might have listened remote machine, then it directly you understood it was talking about server machines. Moving to the next, SCP protocol. Dear student, SCP protocol stands for Secure Copy Protocol. Helps to transfer computer files securely from a local to a remote host. Local to a remote host means, as generally right now we are if we are searching any information, so we are searching that information from our machine, that is local machine, and we get that in response from remote host or remote machine, that is server machine. It is somewhat similar to file transfer protocol FTP, but it adds security and authentication. In FTP protocol, we have only one adds, that is authentication, but here it adds security, some additional security as well as authentication. Authentication means at the both end you need to prove your credential. You need to provide your correct credential. You are the valid user, so that you are allowed to access this information. So for establishing these all security and authentication, transferring data, communication between two ends, for these all processes we need to follow so many protocols. In order to this only, in first chapter we have discussed about TCP and IP protocol, HTTPS protocol, HTTP protocol, and in this chapter first we discussed FTP protocol, next we have discussed SSH protocol, now we are discussing SCP protocol. So don't be confused. In order to establish communication between two ends, we need to follow various kind of protocols. Among these all protocols we are discussing few of them. Okay. Next is SFTP protocol. It stands for Secure File Transfer Protocol. In computing, the SSH file transfer protocol is a network protocol that provides file access file transfer and file management over any reliable data stream. It was designed by Internet Engineering Task Force as an extension of Secure Shell Protocol to provide secure file transfer capabilities. SMTP, you might have heard this protocol. This stands for Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. It most commonly used protocol whenever we transferring email between two or more servers. As you can see inside the figure, we have SMTP client, we have SMTP server. Via internet, we are allowed to send message from one end to another end. So this is the important protocol used while sending emails between two or more servers. Apart from this, we have many more services of internet as mentioned here: e-learning, video conferencing, online chatting, e-banking, e-shopping, as well as e-reservation. E-learning, nowadays e-learning stands for electronic learning. It refers to a wide range of applications and processes which designed to provide guidance or deliver information to the students, faculties or employees of the companies through electronic means. At any point of time, if we want to search any information through internet, we can get that particular information. And for this we have different applications also. Video conferencing or online learning. Now in this pandemic, the online classes, the online video conferencing are very much valuable. Through this, nowadays you as a student attending online classes by sitting at your home, because as you know the situation, in this situation the guidelines told us we have to stay inside our home as the virus spread across the city, across the state, across the country. So it is better to stay at our home. So to continue our study, we only have a way, that is online platform. So through online classes, through video conferencing, nowadays people are proceeding their business, students are allowed to learn the chapters. So this way, the video conferencing, online classes are very much important. E-banking, you are uh, very much aware with this. By sitting at one place, you are allowed to send a fund to anyone else. You can check your account statement without going to that particular bank branch. E-reservation, e-shopping, you all are familiar with these all contents. Dear students, apart from this, many more web services we are having, but according to your chapter book, these many services are given. Now, this is all about this particular chapters. Few more topics are left that we will discuss in upcoming classes, upcoming videos lecture. Thank you, students.